What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's enjoying their week. Hope you had a great weekend. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Black Apino, the Apple Guy, and today I am doing a follow-up to an unboxing video that I made last week on my new all-in-one cooler, as you can see right here. So, for those of you that are new to my channel specializes in tech tutorials, unboxings, and vlog reviews. So, today I'm going to be talking about the Corsair h115i RGB Pro XT. Now, I did an unboxing of this, and I was going to make a video initially of me putting this in, but since I am a beginner at PCs, and this is my first actual PC built, and will probably be how I'm going to keep this probably for the next couple of years, I didn't want to make a long video as I'm still learning most of this stuff. So I actually started on this around 2 in the afternoon a week ago. I actually didn't finish till almost 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So it did take me roughly about 3.5 hours to actually put this in to my PC. So you have to forgive the kind of cable management-ish, as I'm still learning how to kind of get some of the cable management kind of under wraps. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the issues that you might run with. And it's not really issues, it's just one of those things where you may not have thought about it when you were actually putting it together. And these are just issues that I encounter. And this is going to be primarily for those who are looking to either build their first PC or they're looking to install something like an all-in-one cooler into their PC. Now, initially, I actually was going to go with the Kapali version of this, which I'm not sure if I mentioned in my last unboxing video. But the reason why I didn't go with that was because it came with its own RGB, a Corsair RGB Pro hub. And since I already had one in here, I would have had to have removed the one that I replaced from my other PC into this one, and then have an extra one that's kind of laying around. And I didn't want to do that. Plus, it required a little bit more cord plugging in that I really didn't want to deal with at the time. So I decided to go with the one that my brother had, which was a lot more easier to put in. So as you can see, this is an RGB all-in-one cooler, but the only thing that's RGB on this is really the pump, the all-in-one pump. The fans are not RGB, they are non-RGB. Now you can buy RGB fans if you want to put those on these in replace of this, but that's assuming that you have the Corsair Command Pro and the lighting node in order to do that, which typically if you're buying Corsair fans, they will normally have the lighting node with them. But if you don't want to do that and you just kind of like the all-in-one RGB cooler, RGBs, then that's fine also. I will show you what it looks like with it installed and kind of just show you what you can do in terms of colors and changing of that, because it does require you to have the Icu software, which I will show you kind of a brief tutorial on how to use it. I'm not really going to go into the changing of the fan speeds and all that because I don't really know a lot about that myself, nor do I just, kind of leave it at the curves. It does have presets in the software itself, which I'll also show you what those do. But otherwise, if you're looking at learning and understanding fan control speeds and all that, then I'll have a few YouTuber channels that I have linked below for that as well. J2Sense is a good one, Bitwits and Gamer Nexus. I have their links down below. They're amazing YouTubers. I learned pretty much most of my stuff from them anyway. And yeah, I'll have a link in the description for this if you want to take a look at this as well. So you have to forgive the cord management on this, as like I said before, this is my first PC build. So how I'm planning on how I got this implemented now is how I plan on keeping it. So I'm going to show you some of the problems that I encountered in terms of installing it and what you may or may not have to do. So assuming that you are looking to build your first computer and you haven't already got everything popped in there, typically I would say the hardest thing to actually get into this is going to be your the pump itself. So I'm going to bring my camera closer and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, this is my pump right there, and as you can see, the hoses are going into the back. So this is the radiator up in the top, which you can't probably see that well, so I'll just tilt my camera up a little. So that is the radiator up here, and then that's my fans. Now again, putting this up is pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory, just depending on the size of your case. If your case has a space for you to add 2 fans up on the top, then you can use this. But if your case is only capable of just putting a 140 up here, then I would suggest not buying this. They do make, Coaster does make one all-in-one cooler that you can buy. That's a single 140 fan that you can put up, and I'll have a link in the description for that. But normally, if your case supports a 2-fan system up on the top, then this is what you would do. Simply just your fans there, your radiator up top. Now when it comes to intake and exhaust, from the videos that I've watched, normally they recommend just doing the intake, as opposed to when I had my last fans, if you're just my normal RGB fans, they were all exhaust. So I had all my air coming in, and then most of it all coming out through the top or out through the back, as you can see with the fan here. That's a 120 exhaust fan, but now I have all my intakes. These are intakes, and that's my only outtake, or exhaust, excuse me. So everything is coming in, and then it goes out. So the thing that you'll be probably ending up running into in terms of issues is how to mount this on this. So if you haven't placed your motherboard in your PC yet, you could try mounting this on first before mounting on the brackets or the fans on, as this is usually going to give you the more of the problem. As you can see, I have my cords kind of wrapped over my memory card or over my RAM, which doesn't really matter in terms of, it's not really going to damage the RAM or nothing like that. But if you had it open and wanted to clean it out and whatnot, it does tend to kind of look a little weird. But as I said before, the glass that comes with this case is tinted, so you really won't be noticing that. But that's one of the things you have to notice. And another thing that you'll also run into is your power cord, which is right here. I'll zoom in a little bit closer. So as you can see right here, off to the left hand side, that's my power cord. That is what is going to be controlling the fans and the water pump, everything through there. And then you'll use your fan controller up on your motherboard also if you want to do that. Now, the reason why I say you want to put this in first and put the fans in last is your fan controllers are going to be up in the center right there. So they're going to be kind of hard to get to if you already have your fans on first. So typically, if you can get your water pump in first and then do the fan controllers before you put the fans in, it's pretty easy, as everything just gets put in through the back so no one sees it. But as you can see from here, that's basically how I have it. Now, again, it's not hard to do. As I mentioned before, this is my first PC that I've ever built, so it's just time consuming. So you want to set aside at least three to 4 hours when you are doing this. And another thing that you also want to do is to do not lose your screws or your screws or brackets for your motherboard. So if you have an Intel version, those are easy to get in terms of that. Usually when you buy all-in-one coolers, they'll typically have the Intel mounts already on it. You simply just mount it. But if you have an AMD build, such as what I have, you'll notice on the bottom they have 4 sets of screws, 2 screws there, 2 screws there on the top. That's the brackets for an AMD socket. Now I accidentally lost the screws and the bracket for that. Well, I didn't lose the bracket, but I lost the screws. Tried to go over to Home Depot and figured I could probably find some simple screws to mount that onto that. That was not the case. I actually could not do that. So I actually had to order a whole new bracket set in order for me to use this. And once you do that, you simply just attach the base to the bottom of that, and you just take the screws and you screw them in. It's pretty self-explanatory. The point is, don't lose your screws. You always want to make sure you have your screws somewhere where you can easily access them later on if you need screws to add any other projects to your PC. But as you can see, that was what was giving me the hardest time, was the brackets, because I didn't have the screws, nor did I have the base for it. So I actually had to order before I could actually mount everything. But once I got everything mounted, it was pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like with it turned on and how it looks with the glass on, and just kind of show you some of the cool configuration lights that you can do with this. So as you can see right now, it is lit up. Now that is what color I chose, is green. Now this is the software for what I use. This is known as the Icu Software. This is pretty much for everything Corsair that you want to manage that has RGBs and fan controls. So this, as you can see right here, that is the fan pump that I just installed. These are the fan speeds, the RPMs. Now, my recommendation is, if you don't know what you're supposed to leave these at, then I would recommend leaving them at the default. So performance-wise, you have quiet, balanced, extreme, 0 RPM. Basically, that means that the fans will not come on if you're not doing anything strenuous, and the fans will just sit there. But as soon as you are doing any type of heavy processes, then I'm assuming the fans will kick on. Otherwise, don't quote me on that, but that's what I'm guessing out of that. 0 RPM means the fans are not running. Now you have your balance presets, you have your quiet, and you have your extreme. So right now I have this at balanced. Normally I would just leave it all in balance. I don't really leave it in quiet because usually the quiet and the balance are going to be about the same speed. But right now, if I wanted to select my pump to do balance, then I would select that and then click balance. My fans right now, they're all on quiet, as you can see right now. So whatever corresponding selection you select on here, it will affect the fan right there. So if I want to change the color, then that's pretty simple. As you can see right here, it says lighting effects. Simply tap on that. Now as you can see right now, it's in static color. That's basically showing you that it's all green, as you can see right there. Now pay attention to the Corsair. Now if I want to change that to say a red, there are predetermined colors down here. So if I want to do red, I simply click on red, switches to red. Yellow, yellow, green, obviously green. There's like a light sky blue, as you want to call it. There is a blue, there is a purple-ish, I guess, and then there's just a white. But I usually like to keep it in the green. Now, depending on what you want, you do have different cycles that you can actually have this go through. So these are your predefined. Predefined means that those are just already there. Static means these are your kind of your custom, and then you have your lighting links. So basically how you have your, I guess, how you have lighting in there, it can also sync with the pump. But we're just going to kind of go through the predefined and just show you exactly the predefined, what you can do with this. So as you can see, I'm going to do the spiral rainbow. So that's the kind of unicorn color. Then you got the rainbow wave, which is just kind of the same thing as the spiral. You got visor, which is actually kind of cool. It just kind of shows you the colors, and as you are cycling through the predefined on these, it shows you the LED lights and how they are corresponding to the light selection that you're choosing. So we're going to go back to the visor color shift. So it shifts colors, basically the predefined colors that are already there, like, you know, the red, green, blue, red, and you can speed them up or slow it down. You've got color pulse, which is basically it's the pulse in the different colors. Then you have your color wave. Then from there you have temperature, which usually just depending on the temperature, it changes color depending on how hot or cold it gets in your CPU. Sequential, which is just your kind of, as you can see, it kind of circles around different colors. You got your marquee, which just kind of like a funky little, like I call it like a dot type weird effect, I suppose. I guess I'm not really sure how I would explain it, but that's what that is. Then you've got the rainbow. Then you have strobing. And then you have rain, which I'm not really sure what rain does because I've never really done rain. I think it works better with just the fans. But I usually will just keep it in the static color because I prefer static color, and then I just keep it in the green. Now, with the fans, since as you can see, I have RGB colored fans. These are in the rainbow effects. It's not what I had previously. So if I want my fans to match my Corsair, I simply would just go into the settings on my home. And now it won't be the Commander Pro, because basically all this does is this shows me each fan that's connected to my node, what the fan speed is and what the voltage meter is. You can change these if you so want to, but again, as I mentioned before, you want to leave them in whatever the predefined default settings: quiet, balance, and extreme. I usually just leave these in quiet. I don't really mess with them beyond that. Even when I'm gaming, I leave these in quiet. The only fans that actually have a ramp up is typically going to be the ones on the pump. But if I want to change the colors on my fans, this here is called the lighting node, as you can see right there. So when I select that, these are where I control all my RGB fans and everything that's connected to them. So as you can see here in the corner that says lighting setup, simply tap on that. and then that shows me the type of fans that I have. But as you can see, the fans have now turned off from the color. I just get like a simple red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into lighting. What I'm going to do is go into lighting channel, and then from here right now, as you can see, they're on rainbow. So say I want my fans to correspond with the color of my Corsair. As you can see, it's rainbow. Then I simply would just tap on this. Then I would go to static color, and as you can see, it's on green, or actually the fans are on the white color. So simply would just tap on green, and then now I have all my fans green, just like my Corsair. Now you can also do this if you have RGB fans for the pump itself, but again, it just depends on how you want to do that. I usually am just going to leave those up there. I'm not really going to change that. So that is how you change the colors for RGB enabled fans or the pumps for anything that you have Corsair. So even when it comes to my keyboards, I can also change the colors on that if I so want to. Again, I have the option right there. And then even with my mouse, again, I can change the color of the logo, and the scrolling wheel, I have the option there. But this is the software that you would use that is included with all Corsair products. Simply this, you download the program, you simply just attach all your RGBs. If you're using RGB fans, simply to your Command Pro, and then that would be your lighting node, which is your RGB hub. That plugs into your Command Pro, and then that's how you set everything. So again, this, the Command Pro, what you're looking at here, that is what you use to control the fan speeds of your fans that are connected to this if they are the Corsair fans. Now, if you don't know how to use the RPMs, or if you don't know how to change the customized fan speeds on your fans, then I would leave them alone. I would just leave it in whatever default settings you leave it at, either balanced or quiet. But if you want to change the lights on your RGB fans, you simply just tap on your color node, and then, as I before mentioned, your lighting setup's right there, and that is pretty much it. So again, that is everything for the kind of tutorial / where I'm at now on my PC. I've actually got everything set up. Everything in there is now perfect. I'll deal with the cable management at a later time and date. And that is everything for the installation of my Corsair RGB H115 Pro XT lights. Now again, I didn't want to make a video on installing them because even as a beginner, it usually does take you a while to kind of learn this. As I said before, it took me about 4 hours to install that, with a little bit of tinkering here and there. So I didn't really want to record video for that long, otherwise it would have been a 4-hour video. I decided to show the after and just kind of show you what problems you might encounter when you are installing it. And then this is the software that you would use if you wanted to do any type of RGB color changing. Now again, when it comes to the fan speeds and all of that, if you are not familiar with fan speeds and what they should be set at, then leave them at the default settings. So if it's on quiet, leave it on quiet or leave it on balance. Especially with the other ones, if you have those connected to your RGB fan or your RGB Command Pro, or should I say your Command Pro, then whatever the fan speeds are, it's just best to leave them. As again, I'll have a link in the description below for all the other YouTubers that do know how to do this, or kind of give you recommendations on what you should and shouldn't leave it at. So again, that's everything. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. If this video was helpful, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up, as these likes do help me create more content, better content. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And again, my name is Black Apino, the Apple Guy. And if you want to see how I built my PC, or if you want to see some other PC builds or other PC installations that I did for my PC, I'll have a link in the description below also, or up in the corner on my PC build list. I did a little bit of, I showed how I installed an NVMe solid state drive into my computer. So if you want to see that video as well as other PC builds that I put in it, then I'll have a link in the description for that. And that's everything. And again, my name is Black Apino, the Apple Guy, and I'm going to thank everybody for watching, and have a great weekend.